And with that, we're streaming. I think. Do I have the page up? We do. We're streaming. We're a go. We're live. This is a good start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the penultimate episode of the Phoeni-X Files. Gang, what happened last week?
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So, essentially, on Shujinko's little solo mission with the characters that are basically our B characters, he went and found this old man who was being transported, who came with absolutely no resistance. Turns out that that man happens to be essentially a very impressive war commander who happens to have information about, various number of forces and planning for battles and whatnot. It also turned out that Office 34 was to be disbanded because the head magistrate Asako Jun had committed seppuku out of shame. Turns out, though, that was a big old pile of baloney. After some investigation into both her character and her handwriting and, a lot of librarian nerd stuff, Shujinko managed to figure out, hey, she didn't kill herself. What's all this then? Turns out that there is some sort of mass conspiracy going on. Who knew? Oh, there had also been about 40 assassinations, I believe, in Kyudanasawa. So everyone was kind of on high alert, and yeah, there was a bunch of silliness going on in Kyudanasawa by the time that Shujinko returned.
It's a lively place.
Sure is. Oh, there also happened to be so the guy who also happened to have battle tactics and command, Shujinko managed to interrogate him and figure out that he also was an engineer of many fine crafts, one of which happens to be a flying machine, which seems pretty reasonable and pretty amazing for multiple reasons. Turns out that the Phoeni-X have been capturing a bunch of gaijin who have been doing work for them and trying to, figure out a bunch of different technologies and reverse engineering and whatnot. And if I recall correctly, that was also how they discovered this corruption that makes them able to fight Shadowlands. And yeah, some plotting is happening because of that. And then a bunch of stuff happened with Hiroshi and Sai, which I cannot quite recall, so I will let them recap that.
We hung out with the elder Sai for a while and showed him this fancy new paper lantern that we dug out of the lake. And it seemed very familiar to him. It seemed very much like the floating ship that he fought a long time ago alongside the Uzumaki spirit. There was bits of information that basically said that this is definitely the same sort of thing as that. So the Uzumaki spirit is clearly involved in some manner. I was very much a zombie last week, so I can't recall much else to do with that.
Oh, I also discovered that from the old man that there is an army in the Yobanjin territories which is currently mustering and is going to be assaulting Phoeni-X lands. The northern mountains of the Phoeni-X lands are going to be the area that they rush through and take this territory and then supposedly spread throughout Rokugan, essentially creating a second Battle of the White Stag. And of course, with the explanation of the fact that they're going to be using gunpowder, our previous mission up within the mountains with the monks of the Five Elements, I believe it was, who had the issue with the monks of Asana Wo, there was a bunch of weird thunderous noises throughout the valley. And it's more than likely that that was gunpowder and guns within that close of an area. And given that we found shot within the trees there as well, it seems likely that that was an advanced scouting force, which means that they have quite a bit of time on us. And, of course, the time came to go and present all of our findings in court, and Umabayashi happened to betray Shujenko and he said initially, "Yeah, man, I'll back you up, don't worry," and then he didn't. And then Shujenko called him a traitor to not only the Phoenix Clan but to all the Empire, named him as such, and demanded that he be recognized for it due to a bunch of evidence and his own testimony. It also turned out that a couple of the elemental masters there weren't exactly interested in hearing what Shujenko had to say. And the clan champion, Shiba, oh, I can't remember the name, Shiba something or other, seemed to want to get to the bottom of the truth. But the elemental council, the master of fire, I believe, was like, no, that's fine. We have all the evidence we need here. This matter is closed. And then a dramatic entrance burst through the door, and the Otomo came and said, "No, you will hear me." And with the Otomo was Asako, Hiroshi, and Asawa Sai.
And that's pretty much where it left off. And
oh, Shujenko had his memories unlocked as well.
That's right. You saw UFO. You saw.
And a great revelation came to him.
Yes. So also the Master of Fire helped Hiroshi and Sai get there in time, along with Umbayashi. So during the course...
Oh yeah, the Umbayashi that I was with that betrayed me is a copy. The real Umbayashi came in with Asawa Sai and Asako Hiroshi.
Which must be very confusing.
So Umbayashi comes in, stabs his clone in the back, in the middle of court. The glamour upon the clone fades and just leaves like the body of a white creature that everybody's like, ooh. And so at this, the Otomo, our Emerald Magistrate, goes, I would like to submit that body in evidence. I think it's clear that the Phoenix Clan at large is operating with the assistance of non-human creatures, and as such, that's a, he points towards himself, an imperial matter. So he says, so I'll be taking over this court case, and as such, he doesn't say this all at once, but he decides to move it to Winter Court because he really wants to make a show of things and, do his Otomo thing. So during that time, he places the members of Office 34 basically under his charge and, has them look further into the case because now they're confident that people above Yuri were also operating in this. So just to cover up this month, would everybody make a investigation roll for me, please?
Because I see no reason not to, I'm going to spend a void point upon this one. It's going to be a whole month after all. It'll come back.
Yeah, I should do the same.
You don't sleep once the entire month.
Very impressive.
I will do the same, except I'll use my Shiba school, so 2 void points.
You have very good perception.
All
Free
right.
perception is very useful.
It really is. I've got 3 on my character in the other campaign I'm in, and it's really coming in handy.
Shojinko and Hiroshi do a really good job in this time. Sai, he seems to be a tad distracted. So as you guys investigate, are going into these cases, and you look into the 40 assassinations that took place in the capital while you guys were out of town. And so going through things, you're able to find 16 individuals and who were linked to the Master of Air, basically, were killed. And it's not like 16 of her students were killed. It's like over the course of history, these people at one time or another had some sort of dealing with the Master of Air, and if you didn't have a month in isolation to track all these people, it probably wouldn't be noticeable. But you did have the time and resources, so you did that. And you're able to see that 16 of these people were murdered, who were connected to her. They were all choked to death at the same time. Like all 40 people died at the same time, pretty much.
Damn. That sounds like some high-level magical shenanigans.
Possibly having the air sucked out of their lungs.
Mm-hmm.
With my amazing roll, would I have been able to determine if there were any strangulation marks aside from, say, just having their air disappear?
Some Edda did a little bit of autopsy work, and their windpipes were crushed, but there weren't any like hand marks or bruising on the outside of their neck.
Just as suspected.
8 of the members. 8 of the members were connected to the Sapphire Legion. 7 of them were below captains, which checks out. But the disturbing thing is one of them was what would be a major in our modern military structure. And this is upsetting to you guys because the captain that was working with the Blue Lotus was allegedly the highest ranking individual. So you you find evidence that these assassinations were done to keep people quiet and to tie up any ends that might be straggling. So if a military commander who was above the person taking the rap was considered a loose end, then there's probably someone within the Sapphire Legion above a major who he was dying to protect, basically.
That is quite upsetting. This goes all the way to the top.
And then the final number of folks who died, 16. You do a little bit of research. You're looking around, and they all seem to have connections to the Master of. That's right, fire. That's pretty exciting. So much like the Master of Air, these are all people that, sometime in their history had contact with him and had done various jobs or favors for the Master of Fire. Yeah.
Seems like they were trying really hard to clean up loose ends, and they did it quite sloppily. Then again, they didn't expect us
to be alive. And with that, Winter Court starts to be the talk of everybody's mouths. Great metaphor. So word gets out that Osako Yuri's suicide note was faked, which, leads to the obvious conclusion that her suicide was faked, which leads people to be quite upset that a well-beloved and prominent political figure was murdered by some conspiracy which was penetrating the Phoenix clan. So the Phoenix clan itself is kind of in a state of turmoil as everybody is McCarthyism-ing each other and, reporting each other for suspicious activity. But you guys are preparing for your big case in Winter Court. It's gonna be a very strange Winter Court this year because all of the prominent Asakos and Isawa, who are the top diplomats, the real movers and shakers of the Phoenix clan are going to be nowhere near your clan lands this year, because in Bayushi Kyuden, where this year's winter court's being held, the Phoenix have helped finally put an end to the war between the Crane and the Crab clan, and so they'll be there. And also, all the other Asakos are there to do as much damage control as possible. That there's currently a high-ranking Otomo who's putting on trial high-ranking members of their clan. So they're trying to keep that under wraps and from getting into the hands of any unsavory people. So all the real political animals are going to be missing from this year's court. Is there anything anybody want to do in the intermedium between you guys, in the month between?
Not in particular. My thing has already been accomplished.
I think I'm fine.
Same.
Ooh, Sai said his with such confidence. Sweet. Then we head to Winter Court. Wow, we're there. Winter Court. You guys make it. Traveling along the roads, you of course have an Imperial escort, so things are going fine for you. You're hardly stopped as you, the Otomo, and 6 Sepun guards are making life easy. And of course, you have the lovely Phoenix roads lighting your way, which you recently found out were filthy gaijin technology, and just one more magical thing about Rokugan has fallen to the mud. But Shirosai is relatively close to the capital, so it's not that far of a track, and so you guys arrive at Shirosai pleasantly and very quickly. It's an ornate, beautiful castle. I figured out what the noise is that's coming from behind me. It's me.
What's that?
I'm like shaking my leg and it's making my chair squeak. But it's like a really high-pitched squeak, so I was confused. A beautiful castle topping a cliffside. There's a beach nearby. It's a beautiful scenery. We saw it 1 month ago when it was being set up for Winter Court, and now that Winter Court is in swing and getting ready to start. Everything's complete. The moat surrounding the castle is crystal clear with koi fish swimming about in it. I'm not sure how they fare during winter, but I said it, so it's done. The gardens have all been planted and are immaculately tended to. The walls are whitewashed, and orange tile sits upon every roof, and for miles the roads are clogged with Phoenix dignitaries and samurai, many of whom have had adventures in the Phoenix lands this year, coming here to relax and make a name for themselves in the political world. And you guys are no different. So, you guys are... There's really no good way for me to like squeeze this scene in the way I have the session constructed, so... At some point, you guys are camping on the road and Sakura Roshi goes to sleep. I can only presume. And,
Yeah, generally sleep is a thing that humans do.
Yeah. But you know, you always say that sometimes your characters don't, so... Oh wait, it's eat that they don't do. Anywho. During a dream sequence, as you go to sleep, it's just a nice little short one that doesn't upset anybody. I hate dream sequences in movies, so that's why I said that. And flashbacks. Anyway. Lazy storytelling. Hiroshi, you are, of course, as you often are when you're cast into the void, floating in the middle of the void. Neither darkness nor light penetrates your eyes as you You sense all that is around you with perfectly vague clarity. And as you are in a somewhat familiar spot, you're before a massive set of stone doors, the doors to truth, which you encountered a few sessions ago, as was foreshadowed. And sitting before the doors of truth are your master, Isawa Mori, the master of void, who long ago lost his consciousness while learning a great truth from the door, and it's currently sealed behind those gates. And so as you you enter the dream realm and then enter the void, he's there waiting for you, and he's sitting crisscross applesauce as you arrive. He says, Hiroshi, welcome. I sense that your journey is coming to an end, and soon all the threads that surround you will begin to unravel.
Seems quite likely that is the case, Master.
Are you looking forward to the clarity you will find, or do you fear the truth?
As many dark truths, there is fear that is there. But as samurai, we must conquer our fears and do what must be done for the good of the Empire.
A very noble goal, and he says, of course, beware how readily you fling yourself into dangerous situations. I, too, performed an action to serve my empire, and it has left me as I am. Was it for the better? Only time will tell. And with...
Master,
Go ahead.
what was behind your door?
He looks at you for the first time. He's been staring at the door for the whole time, and now he kind of looks at you, and he sighs, and he says, unfortunately, that's one of the things I lost as well, is my ability to share the truth with anybody. My tongue, as well as my body, have been severed from me. I told you that you lose whatever, whatever you... God, how to say. I literally, spent a week thinking how to phrase this, and I got no closer to reality. What you sacrifice to give to the door, isn't what you lose, it's what you become. Boom. Chew on that for a while, Hiroshi. And as he says that, you kind of return back to the realm of reality, and there before you is beautiful Shiro Sai. You must have just blurred out for a second. As you guys arrive at the gates, everybody clears the way for you as the Otomo is leading the way, and as you guys are approaching the gate, you see everybody kind of looking your way, and if you look at them, they quickly look away and start whispering amongst themselves, as you guys have developed quite the reputation, for good or for ill. And the Otomo raises his arms, and he cocks his head back towards you guys. He says, he takes in a deep breath of air, and he says, do you smell that, my friends? And he says, that is the smell of chaos that your clan has sewn within its own rings. I hope you take this entire case as a valuable lesson of what happens when we try to rise above our stations.
The third sin is desire.
Give yourself a void point. But yeah, it seems that he's right. Everything, you enter the castle and everything, is very, very glum this year. Usually, the Phoeni-X clan, have bright, cheery, hopeful winter courts, but this year everybody's, downcast and are kind of, sticking to cliques as they look suspiciously between one another. Not sure who they could trust, it seems. Everybody's scared that the other person is a part of a conspiracy or that there's an assassin. Oh, has it? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sweet. F you, Sai. I don't know. Everybody's just very paranoid. So the first thing you guys do when you arrive at the castle is, I would presume, check on the flying device that you stored there. Does that sound reasonable?
That's a wise choice.
That seems like a smart move.
Oh, I have a note for Shujinko. 1 second. There you be. Pretty good. So you guys head over towards the back storehouse where the device was kept.
Sorry about that. I'm back. My
There we
Discord froze. I don't know if people saw that.
Yeah, welcome back. You didn't miss anything. Just me talking. As you guys go to the back storehouse where the device was kept, the guards, of course, salute you, and Atoma's like, yo, open those doors, we want to see it. So they open the door, and you see that in the storehouse is grain and barrels of fruit and stuff such as that. Nothing, no laughter, nothing that resembles a strange glowing orb from another world. And the Atomo kind of taps his foot. He says, correct me if I'm wrong, my magistrates, but I believe you said you left the device in this warehouse.
We did, but this is not the device, obviously.
Oh, how novel. And the guards inform you that a few weeks back there was a murder at the warehouse, and the 2 guards were at the warehouse were murdered. Naturally. You're like, straight up murder? That doesn't sound like the organization. That doesn't sound like the Blue Lotus. And then you're like, they're getting desperate. And so after un poquito of looking into things, no one saw or heard the device like leaving Shiro Sai. And so you guys are placed under the impression that it's still on the premises. And so with today's events, the Otomo, looks towards you guys and says, all right, so here's the plan. We need that device for our case. So anybody who can recover it will have my gratitude. Secondly, we've done good research in the past month, and everybody we already have evidence on, I'm confident we can convict. However, we still need someone who can testify on Isawa Yaminaga and Isawa Sai if they are truly the 2 behind this conspiracy, which I personally suspect that they are. I carry standing, but there's no way I'm going to get away with convicting 2 elemental masters on my word alone. So, go forth. And please try to bring this case to a swift close. And with that, you guys are let into the castle. You're magistrates, so you get to keep your swords. That's really very cool. They offer you baths and places to sleep and eat. The opening ceremonies will be happening in just a few hours, but for now, you guys just get to relax and be at one with the void. How's everybody doing?
Sai ended up getting disconnected again.
I guess he's now feeling very one with the void today.
He's so one with the void, he's erased from existence completely. He keeps saying, Discord keeps saying he's typing, and it's really throwing me off.
Oh, real.
Because I'm waiting for a message that will never come.
As to how everyone is feeling, Shijenko is actually feeling rather okay currently. While there is the mystery of the missing flying machine to take care of, this is no different than the work that he's been doing for the previous year, essentially. So, having the very familiar investigation to go through rather than the unfamiliar and dangerous shark-navigated waters of court, he's feeling a lot calmer than he would be if this was, just court.
Indeed. Sai, are you with us?
Yes. Sorry, it froze twice, but I think now it's updated, so I should be good.
Tight. So, over the last month, you've found evidence that seems to indicate that your grandfather maybe have some sort of association with this conspiracy that you've been fighting for the last year. How's Sai been taking that?
Probably not well. I assume that would have put him in some sort of depression, things like that. I think Tasai has sort of lived, obviously sharing a namesake, but and being of that family has kind of lived in his shadow, I think. So this would probably not be going over very well.
Cool. Depression's very cool. And with all the investigation that you've been doing, still no sign of your sister. Which is,
Okay. I assume she's part of that, perhaps wrongfully, but I assume she's part of that army.
Perhaps wrongfully indeed. Speaking of that army, Isawa Shojinko was right on. His investigating prowess were beyond compare. The Sapphire Legion and currently the Elemental Master of Earth, as long with the Legion of Earth, were sent in a northerly direction to combat any Yobanjan war bands that might be coming down from the mountains. And lo and behold, last week, a sizable Yobanjan army did indeed descend from the mountains and raid the northern territories, and the 2 legions of the Phoeni-X clan are currently in pitch combat with them. However, from the reports that we've been getting from the war, the Yobanjan are not using firearms. They're using their same old crappy, poorly forged, dumb swords. Like the barbarians they are. Schmucks.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
So to my like final bit of setup. The opening ceremony happens, of course. The two elemental masters present for the events, the clan champion, are all there, and they music's being played, food is had, dancing is done, fun times are had. They give speeches of the compliments of the accomplishments of their proud clan this year. The one they're, of course, most proud of is the brokering of peace between the Crab clan and the Crane clan. Everybody's very excited about that. But you can tell everybody's moods are quite demure, as they're not dancing as excitedly as they might normally, and this peace might not mean as much to them as it usually does, with the looming threat of a Otomo perhaps judging some of their leaders to crimes. So nobody's looking forward to that. So while everybody's happy to be at Winter Court and to enjoy the hospitality of Isawa Sai, they're not too excited that they're sharing that hospitality with Notomo. So the five of you, Hiroshi, Shojinko, Sai, Umbayashi, and Arutomo magistrate, are presently all enjoying cups of tea together. Just chilling out before they start their investigation in earnest to find out if anybody's willing to squeal about who their master is. The Otomo seems to have taken a liking to you guys, and the dissolution of Office 34 might not be a concrete thing, seeing that the suicide note by Asako Yuri turned out to be bunk. But the Otomo lets everybody know that if this case goes well, he'd be happy to take on any of you as members of his retinue. He's been reading through your cases, and he thinks that you've all done wonderful work. So he knows Hiroshi will probably be too caught up in his exploration of the void, but
someone disappeared again.
Yes, I disappeared again. And Shujinko makes certain to mention that he would be more than happy, should Office 34 be dissoluted, to being the Yoriki to an Emerald Magistrate. Because, what better? It's an amazing and wonderful position, and he would be more than happy to serve under such a competent leader.
Oh, go on. Oh, you're flattering me. Jeez.
It looks like the side dropped again from Discord.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those days, I think.
No.
I'm going to have to speak with Lady Luck.
Must have faith. So Sai was going to be the first person kind of pulled away from this group, but alas, we shall have to choose someone else. Shojinko, you're enjoying your cup of tea with this magistrate, kind of formulating on information you've gained. You know that there's currently a missing spaceship somewhere within this castle, as well as the leader of the conspiracy and a person who can shed light on that. So you're kind of ruminating on those subjects when there's kind of a knock at the screen door, and Tom was like, "Oh, enter!" And the door slide open. There are three Shibabushi, unarmed, who you don't recognize, who wish to speak to you. They ask if they can speak to Master Isawa Shojenko.
Please, I am no master, but I would be more than happy to speak with you.
Oh, you honor us, you honor us. Thank you, sir. And so, and with that, they beckon you out into the hallway and close the not the shogi screen, the sliding door behind you as they go for a walk. For a while, they talk pleasantly about the high fashion of the court. Did you see Asako's outfit? Oh, beautiful.
Truly glorious. The way that they used color and implemented it within the design, completely fashionable. And truthfully, I'm going to be surprised if the capital does not adopt that fashion soon.
Indeed, even the crane would, be jealous of such fine work. And they, they go out onto a balcony, look around, and they're like, this castle's rather loud, don't you think?
There's certainly quite a bit of noise. I would agree with that.
Certainly, yeah, and spirits seem to be quite high this year around, as the three of us have certainly been hearing a lot of laughter from the castle. Indeed,
the sounds of laughter ring throughout, and I cannot help but feel in high spirits as everyone else does.
Yes. Well, if you truly want to share in the high spirits of everyone else, we believe the third basement from the kitchen might be a good place to start. Lots of laughter ringing through those doors we found.
Indeed, I can think of no finer place. In fact, would you care to head there now? While I was having tea with a certain Otoma magistrate, I do not believe they will miss me for quite some time.
Indeed, we'd be all too happy to show you as they lead you through the halls down towards the third basement from the kitchen. Sai, are you with us?
I think I am now.
Well, great. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. For some reason, I think my keyboard isn't working. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, it's been saying...
Or...
Go ahead.
What was that?
It's been saying that you've been typing for, like, the last hour.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, like, something... And I think it was messing with my push to talk, and then, I don't know, causing it to freeze. So I'm gonna try plugging and unplugging. We can keep going. I'm just gonna plug and unplug my keyboard to see if that
Okey-doke.
fixes the issue.
Well, while the three of you were sharing tea, I don't know if you're around for that, but your character was. You guys were sharing tea, discussing your strategy for locating the ship and locating the rat of the area. You were... a courier basically came into the room, and he handed you an invitation and quickly left out. He quickly left. When you look at this message, it is a summons from your grandfather. In fact, he wishes to speak to his grandson, and want to know if you're available to meet him in the gardens.
Oh, god damn it.
Oy vey.
You work so hard, and then this happens. So, Until that situation resolves itself, Hiroshi, you now find yourself alone in her room. Alone except for the Otomo. What's Hiroshi's opinion of this Otomo?
He's clearly very diligent.
Fair enough. So he's waxing philosophically. He's saying, no, I think that we're really, I know we're on the right track because in the last month I've had 2 assassinations attempted on me, but I think the organization underestimates my guards.
It is fortunate that you have remained safe.
Yes, indeed. So tell me, Hiroshi, I'm interested. I don't really get to talk openly to those below me. Has your opinion on your clan changed at all since you've begun working for Office 34?
It is clear that there were some among our clan that do not properly subscribe to its ideals. I firmly believe that were Lady Sheba to... Was it? Oh wait, was Sheba female? I can't remember now.
Sheba was a male.
If Lord Sheba were to see this now, he would be deeply disappointed by what he sees.
I'm gonna set it in case over.
All right. So I think I'm back. My keyboard is giving me trouble, so I'm just going to unplug it.
Tight. So the Otomo, Hiroshi, he nods his head and he says, "That's good to hear because loyalty is a hard thing to find. This is not the first situation like this that I've encountered in my time serving the Empress. And sometimes when samurai see their clan fall low, they become, disillusioned and distraught, and it's really pathetic, I think, because the big secret of the Empire is that your clan isn't any better or any worse than the other clans. They've all got their dark, crappy secrets." I've got a letter opener right now, and I'm considering committing lady seppuku.
Rough time.
Yeah, So, sigh.
Sorry about that.
Alright, he's back. So the Otomo's talking to you, just waxing philosophically about life, and he's like, "Alright, now I think you should join your friends and start looking for leads. I have to formulate a plan." As he says that, you think he stands up because he's kind of like his head rises above where it was sitting, which is usually what happens when people stand up. But you quickly see that his head and his body rise up greater than what his height is, and he has his hands on his throat, like he's choking himself. But you see that he's some sort of force is kind of pulling him upwards by his neck. What does Osako Hiroshi do about that?
That's a problem. I'm gonna cast by the light of the moon. See if I can see anything. 1 second. I guess that's only non-magical.
Yep.
Sorry, I missed some stuff. So is Asako the only one there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were summoned to hang out with your grandpa for a little while, and I'm currently on a leisurely walk with 3 Shibabushi,
Oh,
who are showing me a very neat location.
okay.
Well, do I see anything hidden that isn't magically hidden?
No mundane items are hidden, no.
Sense void.
Sounds red. Alright, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's a success.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Just a 43 for a level 1 void spell? I don't know if that succeeds, man. You should probably look up the rules for that. I mean, didn't you do 14 raises right there?
Oh, clearly.
Okie doke. So, you sense, you fall into your trance as you try to become one with the void, man. You sense, before you, there's an Otomo who, his grasp on life is, becoming more tenuous by the second. And you sense around his neck, there's it's like a noose, basically, and you can kind of trace the it's made of the void itself, this noose. You can kind of trace it, and it's flowing through the the upper floors, basically. You can if you desire, you can track this little string of void to its originating caster.
Well, now this is a difficult choice. Because I suspect if I do that, the Atomo dies.
Maybe if you're quick.
But if you save him, then you will never know where it came from. And who's to say they won't try again?
Exactly.
This Atomo does seem kind of like a grump.
A grump.
I don't know. I'm trying to keep it PG. He annoys me.
He is very foppish.
I have an odd question.
Okie doke.
Is it possible for me to grab hold of this thread that I see?
That's like one of those questions that you ask before you ask a much bigger question. If I were to say yes, what are you hoping to accomplish by that?
What I'm hoping to do is let up the choking while I continue to cast yet another spell.
Yeah, I'd allow that.
Okay, so I'm pulling as hard as I physically can on it to try and get some slack for the Atomo to breathe as I cast Immune with the Void and try and track this thing.
Okie doke. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You do it. You're communing with the void as you're, the Otomo's kind of like drops to the floor as the line has some slack and he's breathing heavily.
probably see that Asako is casting.
Yeah.
Clearly doing Shugenja things. Clearly, after he did some Shugenja things, he stopped being choked.
I like to think it's all invisible, so if someone walked in, they'd be really confused.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably would.
You're just like miming reeling in a fish. But yeah, as you you grab onto this slack of rope, and I want it to look like as you grab onto it, a vein of light pulses from you and runs along this thread, and then it kind of explodes, and the screen is becomes the void itself as we find Hiroshi swimming among it.
I would be attempting to see to whom this rope is tied.
You clearly.
Boom punch.
No, clearly.
You recall Umbayashi. You unlocked his memories of his time when he was imprisoned in the temple, and he said that he overheard two of the otherworldly beings speaking about a person named the Oracle. The Void is telling you that this line is connected to that being.
Oh, I think I just figured it out.
Suppose I have a couple more questions. Another question to ask. I need to decide exactly how I want to word it.
What's the meaning of life?
Whatever you want it to be.
Here is an interesting question.
I'll decide on that. Lay it on me.
Is the Oracle behind the door?
Certainly he's behind a door when he's casting this jutsu. Yes.
With that, and my capability to ask more questions done, I am going to dart a void against the rope.
Tight. And 4 rounds later, you cast it.
No, I was doing 3 raises, as I normally do.
Of course, of course.
Well, technically 2 actual raises, and then the one from my being in Usama Shugenja.
Yeah, let's see, do you want it to be that you have, bless you, do you want it to be that you have like one hand on it, and you snap the line between that hand and the Otomo, so you're like still holding onto the line?
Yes, that's what I intended.
Then that's what happens. As the Otomo, he's the void around his neck unravels, and he takes a deep breath, and he looks at you and says, "You have so many void slots."
Dude, I still have Because I used the first 2 for fire because I can do that. And I still have another 4 slots if I need them.
You're just like, this is what I was made for.
If nothing else, saving the life of an Emerald Magistrate must be a very glorious thing.
An Emerald Magistrate of the Imperial families.
I know, I gave up on honor and glory real fast for this campaign.
Yeah, I've thought that a few times, but that's, I mean, I don't know, whatever.
Listen, there's a lot going on in this campaign.
Strange thing that I want to try doing.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, what I am conceiving here is, imagine we use rope in such a manner that treat the rope like a fiber optic cable,
Yeah!
and a dart of void fire at the end.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Yeah, I'll allow it. Roll damage.
Oh, I missed the button. Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, they'll spend a void point to soak that.
Oh, wow.
For a second, I was like, it's gonna be crazy when he one-shots this person. But yeah.
Wow. Oh, man, Lady Luck was not on your side.
Yeah, I wonder what the odds of that are.
Well, let's see what the rolly thingy says. Let's see. 5k5. I rolled what is? I rolled a 12. The odds of that happening,
Well,
rolling that poorly or worse, are less than 1%.
oh, for sure. Just the 3. Well, maybe not. I was gonna say 3 1s on 3d10s is 1 in 1,000, but on 5d10s it's, I guess, better.
So if you guys would help my simple mind, how does spellcasting work? Is it your rank and the element?
Yes.
Essentially, it's insight rank plus element. Keep element.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
It's like a standard skill roll, except the skill is your caster level and the abilities instead the rank.
And of course, affinities give you +1 KO. Deficiencies give you -1 KO. For instance, since I'm a rank 2 currently, and my fire rank is 3, I roll 5k3 for fire spells. Or I would if I didn't have an affinity, so I roll 6k3.
Yeah, and the reason why I roll so ridiculously is I have my 5k5 for I have my 5 ring. I'm rank 2. I have a double affinity with Void. And I have 5 ranks of spellcraft.
So yeah, Ken, you kind of send this void dart along the telephone line, and you feel it hit your target on the other side, and you're like, yeah. And then you feel a reverberation coming down this line as you feel a much bigger, scarier void dart also traveling along the line that you two are connected to, and smacks you for 36 damage.
Oh dear God. Well, let's see here.
as the void disintegrates, or the fiber optic cable disintegrates under that that attack.
You know what? I could soak part of this and remain conscious, but for dramatic reasons, I won't.
Awesome.
Actually, that brings up a question. Using a void point to reduce the damage is reduction, isn't it?
Oh,
That is an interesting question.
And void darts ignore reduction.
yeah.
Therefore, you couldn't theoretically. I mean, I don't know this for certain. I'm just bringing this up.
I mean, the question becomes whether it is fundamentally reduction or its own separate mechanic. But it is a very interesting philosophical question.
It is. It isn't pertinent since you're not doing it. But I'm gonna look that up real quick for my own peace of mind.
So as Hiroshi just like has an aneurysm and falls to the ground after miming for a little bit. Way to minimalize a heroic effort by a Void Tensei to save Imperial's life. Very reductive of me. So Sai, you get a letter from your grandfather telling you he wants to meet you in the gardens to talk about some things.
Okay. All right. I shall go to the gardens.
Sweet. So you travel along the crowded Shirosai castle bits. People, when they see you coming, they walk away. They're scared of you. They don't want to get accused of being in some sort of conspiracy. So
All right.
the walk is pretty pleasant for you. So it's one of the side gardens. So you exit a screen door, and it's kind of like a maze-like type thing. So you're walking along a pool of water that's stretching into this garden as you're rounding like a corner to enter. I have like the hiccups all of a sudden.
That'll be great for the recording.
So you're on the corner. You're trying around the corner to enter this thing, but then we see a really cool shot of you walking along this water, and your reflection. It's cast in the water, and the reflection morphs into your sister. And you're kind of looking at your reflection as this is happening. So you're like, "What?" She's like, "All right, so Grandpa's working with the bad guys. What are you gonna do, Sai?"
Wait, the reflection of my sister asks me this?
Yeah. Like weird things haven't happened in this.
Isua looks sort of befuddled, and he reaches down to the water and touches it. I mean, out of character, I think right now Isua might think this is another one of the shape changers, one of the unremembered men.
The water, bloop, 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 does that water ripple thing that water does when it ripples.
And the face is unchanged.
Yep.
Raiwa, is that truly you?
As true as it can be in the current state of things.
What does that mean?
Let's see, the realms are in flux in this castle. Things are merging with other realms, and with that, I can peer through from this realm to see you, I believe.
Where are you? What realm are you in?
I don't know. It's full of I don't like it. It's full of creepy children laughter and monsters.
Are the monsters faceless, pale?
Oh no, they all have they have faces. They look like people. The ground It's constantly roiling like the sea, and there are like castles floating in the sky. I don't like it. Are you going to save me?
I shall try. I have companions that know such things of the other realms. Perhaps they can be of some assistance. But it is true what you have said. Grandfather seems to be connected to this other entity, this Blue Lotus organization.
Are you gonna kill him?
I am not sure. I am not sure I could. He is the master of fire. After all, his powers must be great. How do you know of grandfather's involvement?
The monsters who live here, they talk about you and him a lot.
They speak of me.
You and Hiroshi and Shojinko. The whole affair.
What do the monsters look like?
It's like they're watching you guys enact some sort of play. They seem to look like whatever they want to look like, honestly.
Why do they talk of us?
What a just like a question about human nature, you know? They find you. I don't want to say this because it sounds bad. I think they find you amusing.
Have they harmed you in any way?
No, not the monsters. They're not the one who put me here. The other pale men. They're the one that store us here until they bring us into until they bring us into Rokugan to train or do whatever else they desire. They've hurt me.
They have taken you to Rokugan?
Yes, the Uzumaki. It travels between this realm and ours. And I can feel I can feel the two of us glowing closer and closer by the hour. That must be why I'm able to talk to you right now. We're gonna be reunited soon. I can feel it.
So out of character,
yeah, what do you want?
Should I know what the Uzumaki is? Is that like something? Because I have no idea what it is out of character.
Oh, that.
Other than like what I have gathered completely out of context from the campaign.
That's sad. I was hoping by this point everybody had an idea what it is. Just a quick round.
I've tried to look it up on the L5R wiki, and I don't know. It gives me a bunch of weird hits. So,
just a quick round table. What does everybody think the Uzumaki spirit is?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Light darkness.
It's what?
It's a piece of the lying darkness, as far as I'm aware.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's like a connection to the lying darkness.
Who knows?
Or Not a connection, but has
Like-
something to do with it.
It's like the lying darkness itself is a large mountain, right? And the Uzumaki spirit is a boulder that had tumbled off the side of the mountain and trampled into our section of the village, essentially. It's not exactly the lying darkness, but it's a piece of its power. And I believe that that's why everything is faceless and why all these creatures have been appearing. In my personal opinion, the Phoeni-X have been overtaken with promises from the lying darkness, as it's wont to do, lying darkness. And it said, oh, hey guys, look over here. Isn't this great? Yeah, all the Shadowlands can't even touch you. Oh, yeah, you want all this, don't you? Why don't you just give it to everybody? Yeah.
Okay.
That is a very common MO with the Lying Darknesses.
Well, it does
Maybe
lie,
not.
and it is the darkness.
Yep. Is power that one needs, and it tempts you into it through the need.
Okay. And a lying darkness is, I mean, I get that it's like, it's one of the kind of like big bads in L5R. Does that have something to do with the Shadowlands or something?
No,
Well,
it's-
Not at
your
all.
character wouldn't know about it, so
Oh, okay.
we don't need to discuss it. So I guess as far as your character is concerned, yes, it's some sort of spirit.
Okay.
A spirit connected to a great evil.
Okay. So these monsters, they are, I'm back in character. These monsters, they are connected in some way to this Uzumaki spirit?
No, I don't think so. It's the pale dudes that are connected to it, not the monsters. It's connected to their world somehow, but they aren't connected to it. I don't know.
I see. Well, I shall do my best to find you. And to bring you back.
I miss you. And as she says that, her reflection ripples away, and you're looking at your dumb face, and you're like, "Damn it!"
As that occurs, I'll do the dramatic like Rywa and kind of reach into the water.
Ah, beautiful. Give yourself a void point.
Yay!
Apropos of nothing, are you wearing your Bushi armor at the moment?
I don't think I would. Just
I don't
to
think
be
you would either, but who knows?
like not while I was at Winter Court for.
Gotcha. Are your courtly robes, are they also Lion Clan colored, or just the armor?
Probably just the armor.
Okay, doke.
Yeah, I always imagined my like kimono and the rest of my clothing Phoenix colors.
Cool.
But I do have the blonde hair. The dyed.
Oh
blonde
yeah, you
hair.
dye your hair. I love that.
Yeah.
So after that conversation, you arrive in the garden where your grandfather's currently meditating under two barren cherry blossom trees, and he senses your presence without opening his eyes, and he nods his head towards you. Meanwhile, in the basement, the kitchen staff is hurriedly stuffing crab and other delicious treats into dumplings as they're rolling them up into little balls and putting them into containers to distribute at dinner tonight. And then the camera pans over a steaming pot full of crabs, and we see four Phoenix Clan fellows heading down a hallway. You guys pass the third basement, naturally. just look like you're casually walking by, but as you're walking by, you catch a glance, and you see that the third basement is there's a flight of stairs that go down, and this is already like the basement, so it's below the earth as we speak, and then it has a flight of stairs that goes even deeper down to the earth, and then there's like a sliding door lit by 2 lanterns, and at the sliding door it's guarded by 3 bushi. So you guys walk past that and then kind of lean up against the wall to discuss matters further. What's Shojinko thinking?
Right now, he doesn't have any specific mind as to what they want. As far as he's aware, he has done his part. So he is simply waiting for them to speak.
And they're like, all right, so here's the skinny. We have a cart presently waiting outside for us. The guards, the travel route, it's all been planned out. It's all Gucci. One of them opens up a fold of their kimono, and you see several yogo prayer strips set to repair the damage done to the orb, which should silence it so they can travel silently without it giggling all the way out. And so they need your assistance in getting inside the basement, so they can get inside the basement and like getting the device out unseen.
Certainly. It is clear that you have planned as to how you wish to have us get it out. Tell me, what is my role within it? The plan is in 45 minutes the kitchen's gonna be cleared out as all the servers grab the food and bring it up to the dinner they're having. We have 5 minutes of the kitchen being clear, at which we unload the device out the loading door into our cart to get out of there. What we need your help doing is getting rid of those guards, hopefully with your magistrate credentials. That should be simple enough. They seem, well, everyone here seems to be quite fearful of Office 34, given the massive corruption that has been exposed, and given that the Otomo Emerald Magistrate here seems to back everything we say. I do not believe there should be any difficulty in getting them out of the way. Worst comes to worst, there have been some unfortunate murders within the capital recently, and who's to say that such an arm did not branch to here? But that will be a last resort.
Whatever you think is best.
Indeed. We will execute the plan when the time is right. And tell me, once you have it here, and once you have escaped, how do you plan on not being sighted within the night sky? The silence makes sense as to how people will not see you, or not hear you, but from what I understand, you have not had any plan as to hide your appearance.
Oh, we're transporting it by land. We're not risking flying away in the thing.
That is wise. I'll do my part. Be ready to do yours.
Excellent. So the clock goes as 45 minutes pass, and I guess it's a little bit before 45 minutes because you'd be cutting it very close if you retrieve the item and throw it through the kitchen in a 5-minute window. But the kitchen's gearing up to begin moving food towards the audience hall, and the Bushi give you the signal to initiate plan, get rid of the guards.
First things first, I will pull out a specific scroll and start casting upon myself right before I begin to talk to these people.
He's a charisma mancer. Well, that 23 that you rolled seemed to...
Yeah, I'm a luckmancer. As such, I will then walk up to the guards and then say, "You guards, I have immediate need of your assistance. Please come with me."
Okay. I'll take a courtier roll for that.
Certainly. I'll also make sure to, have my badge of office be heavily displayed. And given the importance of this, I'm going to spend a void point on it. And because I have the free reroll anyway.
No.
Wow, I got exactly 24 each time. Was that enough to convince them?
Let me see.
Oh boy. That doesn't seem very likely. 3 24s in a row.
But I believe their defense set the TN at 24. You rolled a 24, so you succeeded in the target number. So
Just barely.
just barely. You threaded the needle. And they're like, "Oh, will this take long?"
It will not take long at all. I'm in need of your assistance in finding my companions. Given the interesting events of everything around here, I have a certain bad feeling that I wish to assuage. As I am unfamiliar with this castle, I need your assistance in finding them. And I would like to mention that we do not have much time, therefore we are to go now.
You're like, approximately 5 minutes. Yep. So they're like, yeah, okay, yeah. They look at each other. Yeah, okay. And they follow you off as.
Yep, and I go in the exact opposite direction that they need to be for a reason or another. And in a way, I am actually looking for my companions because of all of the craziness that's happening here. He needs to make sure to keep an eye on Hiroshi for reasons and Sai for other reasons. And since they're both separated and he does not know this castle, his deception was based in truth. He does need people to help him find them.
Yeah, totally. So you you head in one direction, and the Kola are like, okay, and go. And they head in downstairs. So you're having these guards follow you and help you search for your companions. So you're kind of heading up from the basements, I would assume, away from the kitchen. As you're heading upstairs, there's a man standing at those stairs. Looks like he's been standing there waiting for you, almost. Will you roll a heraldry roll for me on this?
Certainly.
Sweet. With a 25, you're easily able to recognize this man you've never met before. It's Isawa Sai, the Master of Fire. And he's wearing his fabulous robes, and he's like, "Oh, hold on there!" And he gives a wide smile as he kind of runs his fingers through his beard. You're, correct me if I'm wrong, that Office 34 badge, that would make you Isawa Shujinko, the only member I haven't met. Is that correct?
Isawa Shujinko will give a very low bow, completely worthy of the person who helps lead his clan, and then he says, "Yes, Master of Fire. I am Isawa Shujinko. It is truly a great honor to be standing before you."
Oh, thank you, thank you. But the honor is mine. I've heard you helped keep my grandson alive during a conflict he had with a gaijin, so my thanks are to you.
Truly, I was just doing my duty. Your grandson is one of the finest Isawa that I have met, and it has been an honor and privilege to serve under him. If he takes after you at all, then you must be a very honorable, very wise, and very powerful.
Thank you. But still, I can't help but feel just slightly indebted to you, and so I've been attempting to repay this debt with you. It's come to my attention that the device at your office stored in my warehouse, that it was stolen from its location. So ever since learning about that, I've kind of endeavored to help find it, because this is my castle and something went missing under my watch, and I came down here because I believe I found the place where it's stored. Would you mind accompanying me to it?
Truly, it would be most auspicious. Or hold on, what's the word I'm looking for here? Let me look this up to make sure I'm not making a fool of myself real quick. This would be a most auspicious turn of events had you found it. Tell me, Great Master of Fire, where do you believe that it is at?
And he says, "Why, I believe you just missed it. It should be down here." He gestures for you to begin descending the stairs that you were once ascending.
Face completely on, he will say, "Of course, Master of Fire, please, lead the way." He will turn to the two guards and say, "I still have quite the unfortunate feeling about the Master of Fire's grandson and about Asuka Hiroshi. Will you please go and find them, and when the time is right, I will find you to learn of their locations."
And they look towards the Master of Fire, and he says, "Yes, please, I wouldn't want to interrupt the search." And they go, "Oh, okay." And they run up the stairs and search for Isawa Sai and Asako Hiroshi. And the Master of Fire looks at Shojinko and says, "Oh, please, this way." He gestures you to walk.
Please, lead the way, Great Master of Fire. I would not dare think that I am your equal, nor would I think to stand in front of you nor to your side. I will be shortly behind you.
He says, "Oh, please, Shojinko, I insist."
Reluctantly, he will go exactly where the Master of Fire says to go, and he will walk with him.
Excellent. And with that, we transfer over to Hiroshi. He's currently passed out on the floor. We see his head resting on we originally think it's carpet, but after a few seconds we realize it's a kimono. He's on the lap of a woman, and she has a wet cloth, and she's running it across his face. So what's Hiroshi's reaction when he wakes to this?
Well, first you try and see who the hell it is.
Oh, sure, I guess you could do that. You've seen her before. Sako Yuri, presently rubbing your forehead down.
Wait, what?
think I would make a very strange answer to that surprising fact. Remind me what Yuri's sister is named, the twin?
One moment. I'm almost 100% it's Yui, but I'm checking just to make sure. It's worse, it's Yuki.
Are you a Sako Yuri, or are you a Sako Yuki?
She shrugs and she says, "Oh, well, you know, they're both dead, so I suppose it doesn't matter which one I am."
And you are one of them.
That's correct.
To what end are you treating me?
And she says, "Oh, you're a very important person, Hiroshi. We couldn't have you dying, although you angered the Oracle a great bit."
Sorry, repeat that?
You angered the Oracle a great bit, but we couldn't have him killing you. And so make an investigation for me as you're coming to.
Are you going to void point it? That is a terrible roll.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, you just got void darted. Not all of your senses are currently on this plane, so it's kind of hard to focus. Yuri was a beautiful woman, though, so at least you got that. So how are you feeling, Hiroshi? Fit enough to cast spells?
I don't know, am I?
Yeah, you're healed up, I'd say.
Okay. I'm going to strengthen the void.
Excellent.
Let me think here. 5 raises for range. And then the free raise for making a 1-turn cast.
And give me a moment as I read those 3 paragraphs.
It's the last paragraph that's probably the most relevant here.
Sweet. Yeah, you cast that, and she doesn't seem to be affected by it.
Very strange.
And she goes, you're in good health then." And she kind of drops you off her knees and stands up. And as you look at her, her face kind of shakes a bit, and her face becomes pale, and her hair, or I guess he's bald. You recognize this man. He's the man who you couldn't remember for gosh darn the longest time. But now you kind of associate his name with the name Idrid. This is the man unremembered. Here to see you. And he says, Hiroshi, I think the two of us have a few things to discuss.
That is likely the case.
And with that...
I'm surprised you did not decide to do away with me.
Oh, I couldn't do away with my favorite member of the office. And the scene's gonna shift to Sawasai. Presently, in the gardens, talking to your grandfather, Sawasai, the Master of Fire. He says, "Oh, come, my boy, come."
I, of course, bow deeply, very deeply as I see him, and then I kind of cautiously approach. I imagine I can't... I am poorly masking the kind of, like, emotion I feel towards him, which is... Or the emotion I'm feeling right now, which is probably a little bit of which is probably sadness, but also like kind of anger towards him.
If you would make an investigation roll as you are approaching.
Sure thing. Oops.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Ah, jeez, guys.
We're all blind.
Hey, I am not blind. My investigation is bully, sir.
Nothing to report as you get closer to your grandfather, and he looks at you and he says, "Sly, my beloved grandchild, my last grandchild. I want you to know something. I understand the shadow that you've lived in your whole life. You know, everybody in the family is a Shugenja, except for you. And I know, especially in our clan, that that can weigh heavily on some children."
Your last grandchild?
Well, you know, with our Reba missing.
She is still alive. We just have to find her.
Yeah. Anyway. The point I'm trying to make is I just want you to know that I've never thought less of you for a single moment for any talents you may or may not possess. I've always I've always held you in a special place in my heart.
Why do you tell me this now?
He says, "Well," and then he stands to his feet, and he does that awesome thing in kung fu movies where they just like completely take off the top of their kimono, right? To reveal like just beefy, oily muscles.
Yep.
He does this, and you're like, "That's strange. He's 90." And you know, as
Although with size like grandfather complex, he's probably more like, yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, of course. Yeah, he stands to his height and like shirks off his kimono, and he's just like ripped, and his beard starts to fall away, and his face takes on a familiar quality. You've seen this fellow before. In your memories, you remember fighting this guy. This is Shiba Kiba, the Bushi you've been tracking down for so long.
So Issa was probably like taken aback. He might even like stumble backwards, and then he said, "What are you doing here? What have you done with my grandfather?"
And he's loosening up his muscles. He's like, "Well, the old man didn't have what it took to smother his precious baby in the crib, so he holds his arms out and says, 'Falls to me.'" And he bends down and picks up the katana that you didn't notice earlier. He says, "But I don't want you to feel like you're being a burden on me right now, Sai. We're all leaving today, and for the moment, I'm choosing to stay behind because I've never met a man. I've never fought a man that I haven't killed, so I can't just leave our relationship on a cliffhanger like this." And so he unsheaths his katana and throws the sheath to the ground, and he cocks an eyebrow. He says, "What do you say? Want to dance?"
Issa will do the same.
Yeah.
Hey, out of character and out of curiosity, the guards that I sent looking for Hiroshi and Sai, they wouldn't happen to be nearby, would they?
Not at the moment, but who knows?
Okay, just checking.
Would you roll your initiative for me, Sai?
And that is, I think,
I keep reflexes.
my insight is 2. I think. Yeah, insight rank is 2. So I think it's just 2 keep 2.
No,
Well, actually, it's insight plus reflexes. You keep your reflexes.
Oh, okay, so it's 5 keep 2.
5 keep 3. You mean.
My insight's only... Oh, okay.
You keep your reflexes.
Oh, so I do have, but I think last time I rolled this, it was broken. Oh.
You have to have a token on the table in order for it to apply if you hit the initiative thing. I would personally just do the rolling macro, which is roll 5d10 K3 exclamation point.
Okay, d10, roll 5, keep 3, and they do explode. Oh, do they explode separately? Right. Okay, so let's see how this goes.
Oh no.
What?
It's
Oh, yeah.
3 double exclamation mark.
Oh. Sorry, my cat is now mugging me. Roll 5. Keep. Well, I'm just gonna roll the 5, and then we could manually add it because I can't figure it out. All right, so that'll be. Oh, I see. So it's the 10 rolled the 1, I guess. So I think it's 28.
You would need to re-roll that 10 as well. They explode.
Well, there's 6 dice, so it did explode into the 1, I think.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, let's go. No, it's It's supposed to be a double exclamation mark. Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, it should be 28. You're correct.
We have fun.
Wait, 28?
Yeah, because I take 3.
Yeah, 10 plus the 1 because the 10 rolled into another one. And then plus 9 is 20, plus 8 is 28.
Okay.
All right, Buster, declare your stance.
I will do the what's like the balance stance.
Attack.
Yeah,
Attack
attack.
is one where you can do pretty much anything with no bonuses or negatives.
Yeah, I'll do the attack stance.
But I would argue the center stance is balance.
Now, the centered stance is how you get a void point without spending a void point.
And what is the void if not balance itself?
I suppose you got me there.
Yeah, he's also doing the center stance or fighting attack stance.
Okay, here are the stances. Yeah, I'm gonna be in the attack stance.
Okie doke. And it's your go.
All right. Well, are we doing the duel? Is this a duel? Are we doing like the duel rules where there's those
Skirmish.
3 rolls? Oh, okay. So I will swing at him. I have to go back to my skills. And I will spend a void point. This is Kenjutsu, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's good enough.
Yeah, that is. I was looking at his technique and I was like, oh, my favorite technique in the game. He doesn't get to use it. Do damage.
Sweet. Oh wait, that's weird. I get Katana's agility.
Yeah. Melee attacks are agility, ranged attacks are generally reflexes.
Oh, I thought it would be strength.
Yeah, for damage, it's strength, and then the katana and whatnot. I will let you know, by the way, if you're rolling the damage on the damage thing,
Yeah.
if you're rolling on the damage thing, just put in the katana's damage, it automatically adds your strength for you. So 3k2 is what you want to put in the damage thing. Otherwise, if you put in your adjusted stuff with your strength there, it'll roll your strength twice, essentially.
Okay.
So it should be 3k2 in your damage little section there.
Yep, that's what it says. So here goes. Yeah, that did that correctly, I believe. Yep. Not very good.
Rad, my dude. He's gonna soak 10 of that. Boop. Take 6 damage. And then it goes to his turn, where he will attack you. Does that hit?
I'm looking at. I'm trying to find my armor.
Your armor TN is 5, and then your reflex is times 5. So I think that without your armor on, your TN to be hit is 20.
Well, and then my ancestor gives me. I add my intelligence to my.
I believe it would be five for you. It would be 5 plus reflexes times 5. Like reflexes times 5 is a single block.
Yeah, so I think it's 23.
Yeah, that sounds right. That would be.
And he rolled 826, so that would hit me. And then 46 for damage. Is that correct?
Holy balls.
Unfortunately.
All right, I will void point that for what that's worth.
It's worth 10, so it's just...
Yeah. So I'm at 36.
Okay,
So
I lied. This is the last session, I guess.
So I'm basically crippled, I think.
Sweet. Let me check one thing real quick.
Or no, I am injured. Oh, wait, 36, I'm hurt.
Hey, Sai, I have a question for you real quick, bud.
Hmm.
How many void points do you have?
Total?
Yeah, like right now, after using that one void
2.
point that you used.
And I used one to hit. I have 1 left.
Actually,
Hey,
I don't want to rain on your parade too much, but because of his technique that he's using, since you took over 10 points of damage, you lose that other void point as well.
Oh, okay. So I have 0 void points now.
Never mind then. I thought that I could be helpful by pointing out that you could use 2 void points to reduce damage, but I guess that's not the case here.
Unfortunately not. So we see...
Oh, because of my Shiba thing? That's a good point.
Yeah, but unfortunately, since he sucked away your void with that
Well,
hit,
I guess if you wanted to do that before he was able
That would
to...
happen before the damage, right?
Yeah.
So I might as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to throw away this dramatic single strike, almost kill you sort of thing, but I figured that for the sake of story and having you have a fair shot, it might be worth it to point that out.
That's actually huge, because that takes me from hurt to grazed.
Sweet. Then we leave on Sai's kimono getting cut, and we get just a little peek of some sexy 6-pack between the torn katana. Presently, Isawa Shojenko is staring down a staircase to a closed screen door with the Elemental Master of Fire standing behind him. And he says, I believe the device is just down there. Would you care to inspect it?
I will do just that. Although I must point out, Elemental Master, that why would it be here inside of a kitchen?
Oh, who knows? Perhaps the Blue Lotus knew that Samurai would overlook such a, mundane and pedestrian spot.
Indeed. Well, let us go observe. And then he will go through the door himself. And hope that his compatriots have gotten it out in time.
Sweet. So you open up the screen door, and you're a little bit surprised, because from the way Hiroshi and Sai described this device, it was a large orb, and then everything else was pretty much broken. And so it was just like cloth and timber crinkled around it. What you presently see sitting in this basement is and it's not really a basement, because as you come down here, there are lanterns lighting this room. There's only 3 walls. You open a sliding door. There's the wall that has the door. There's the left and right wall. And then the back wall does not exist. It overlooks the cliff that the castle sits upon. So there's just like an empty hangar space in the side of this castle. But the way they described it, the lantern was destroyed when you and Hiroshi did a tag team combo and blew it up. This one is completely intact, and as such, the three members of your society who are trying to get that orb out of here, they had a kind of a hard time because instead of just orb wrapped up in silk, it's a 30-foot long or 30-foot in diameter paper lantern that they had to get through a doorway. So people should not be surprised when the Master of Fire and the Emerald Magistrate walk upon this, and the Master of Fire goes, "Aha! And wouldn't you know it, we caught the Blue Lotus in the act." And he mutters something in the voice of the kami, and
Shujinku will also pull out a scroll and start muttering something in the voice of the kami.
Sweet. What you muttering? What he mutters is oh, he casts
This specifically on myself. And then I will say, we cannot let them escape.
He's right with you as just pillars of fire encase these men and reduce them to nothing but ash. And he's like, "Whew, that was close." And he holds out his hand and he says, "Well, there we go. My debt to you is repaid. Looks like we were able to find that vessel we were looking for after all."
So it would seem. And with that, while hoping that he still has the advantage of surprise on him, that's when he grabs the Master of Fire and starts putting him into as clear of a chokehold as he can get him.
Yeah, roll for initiative.
Spinning a void on this. Quick question. Does that beat him? If not, I'm going to use one of my rerolls to attempt that again.
1 moment, please.
Oh, I forgot I have a reroll. I could have rerolled my damage.
Let's see, you keep your rank?
You keep your reflexes.
No, it does not beat him.
All right, gonna try that again, using one of my 2 rerolls. Do I use my second reroll, knowing it will probably fail?
I mean, if you know it's probably going to fail, I don't think it's worth it.
I have to believe in the power of my luck. So I'm going to have to hope that I don't die in the first round.
Against an elemental master.
Yeah, no, I'm going to use my second reroll.
Okay.
Nope, gonna keep the 30 though. Had to try.
And you know, guys, I just want to say that, you know, if this is the unfortunate end of the campaign, I had a good time.
Yeah, same here.
Regardless of how this works out or not, Isawa Shujinko has already won. The craftsman who has built this device is currently in the hands of the Kolot. His life no longer matters. He has contributed to it. So if this was where he must fall, then this is where he must fall. So what's the Elemental Master of Fire doing?
I was reading the spell he was using. Okay, he's going to cast a level 3 spell. It's going to use 2 free raises to reduce the casting time. And let's do this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's going to get this.
Alrighty, so the two, as soon as I was talking and it wasn't on, you know, they go up in smoke, and the two of you kind of look at each other and have a mutual understanding that the charade is up. So he holds his hands at you, mutters in his own special calming language, and then what looks like a swarm of fireflies attack you. I'll roll the damage momentarily. 5k3.
Gonna void point it.
Sensible.
And let's see, 18. I'm nicked.
Alright, goes to you.
His plan has not changed. Before him stands the Elemental Master of Fire. He is and Shujinko is covered in fire that happens to wish and really want to burn. So, he is going to take himself and do the right thing here, as best as he can. He is going to try and lock him into a grip so that he is no longer able to cast. So, Jujitsu to try and get him into a grapple. His TN to be hit is 30, or 20, I'm assuming, since he only keeps 3, correct? For his reflexes.
I believe that's correct.
Shujinko steps forward and uses his mask to put him into what is essentially a large bear hug as the flames that surround him start to crackle and burn against the Elemental Master.
Okie doke, roll that damage.
14.
Okie doke.
For the record, Hiroshi, this is actually how I plan to kill you, so if this works against the Elemental Master of Fire, oh, this will be great.
And with those two just hugging it out, we're gonna go to Hiroshi. Okay, Hiroshi. So you've had a few minutes to regain your sense. You're drinking a cup of tea. Maybe I wouldn't trust anything these people fed me.
No, I definitely don't. You could have blood and creature.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So the room you are in, you've become acquainted with. It's a rather large room. It seems like some sort of lounge. There's lots of cushions and pillows and people. There's lots of people. About 50, you'd say. In the room, they're all. They've all let down their glamours at this point. They're all pale. Some have red eyes. Some do not. Most of them have pale white hair. In various kimonos. Be they black, orange and yellow, Ronin, they're all there. And they're all just sitting there keeping quiet while the unremembered man is talking to you. Furthermore, kind of the centerpiece of this room is the orb, which you're kind of familiar with, that you recovered from the lake. It's up there with them. It's been repaired. It's no more laughter's coming from it. That's been tied up. So it's kind of just sitting there on the floor. And then also the final member of this cadre is the Master of Void, Isawa Mori, is also there. You don't know if he purposely had himself moved there or if they moved him there. He doesn't have much of a say to where his body is. But that's the situation.
That's interesting.
Yes, I.
What?
It sounded like you were doing a dramatic, like, villain clap.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was me cracking my knuckles right near my mic.
For a second,
No,
I was
I
like,
wasn't. I was totally not even thinking. I was just cracking them right in front of my mic.
no, it's fine. It was just, I was like, is Sai the actual villain of the campaign? So Hiroshi, we're eager to return home, but before we do, we need to make sure that you fully understand the situation. So any questions you have for us, ask away.
From where do you?
One more time, sorry.
From where do you come?
Well, we call it home, but in the Celestial Order, it's known as the realm of trickery. Realm of mischief. My apologies. My people are, for the most part, known as the Peckle. However, a few Kinku as well have joined our effort here on in Rokugan.
How is it that you came stranded within our realm?
Sorry, I don't mean to make you repeat everything you say. Could you say that one more time?
How is it that you became stranded within our realm?
Oh, I don't want you to get twisted. We're not stranded. We came here on purpose. There's a grand prank that we wanted to play on the Phoeni-X clan, and I must say it's going swimmingly. We traveled here by, he points towards the orb that's sitting there. He says, this device, it's a shard. It's basically a big shard of our home realm that allows us to pass to and fro between the two realms. And out from his pocket, he takes out a smaller orb and he'll toss it to you. And this is, to me, the most interesting plot point of the entire campaign, because you guys have like skillfully avoided discovering one of these devices the entire campaign, so it comes out of nowhere. But he tosses that towards you. He says, there are smaller ones that don't allow people to travel to our realms, but it does radiate the aura of our realm. And as you're holding in your hands, you can feel the kami that surrounds you start to like become muffled and move away from you, as they don't like the atmosphere in the realm of mischief.
prank that you are carrying out, to what end did you do such a thing?
Well, we just thought that you, Phoeni-X, you just think you're so cultured, so peaceful, so educated, and that really miffed us. We didn't like how haughty you thought of yourself, so we all considered to think of a way to prove that you're no better than us, than the chaos that we like to call home. We to put it simply, we wanted to prove that you guys were just as greedy and deceitful and capable of violence that we were.
The corruption that came from your blood, what is it?
How to explain in feudal Japan terms. Well, it's not literally our blood, I should say. It's our essence, our DNA. We can take the form of humans, and with that, our essence can change to become that of humans. So we, the children, by giving them medicine with our essence in it, they became like hybrids between humans and our race. So it's not so much as a corruption as just a very physical change in their physiology. Jigoku hates our realm almost as much as he hates Ningendo. So the taint doesn't touch anybody who lives in our realms, except for the Oni no Peckle. But just don't bring that up. Sensitive subject.
Is there any means to remove this from those who have already been?
If you don't take the medicine for a while, you go through withdrawals. If you can live past that, then it gets purged from your system, and you return to the way you were. Finding who would want to, then you'd suffer disease and the taint and everything it means to be a fallible human.
Yet you would no longer be harmed by the fears of the sun.
That bore, I guess.
Who within the Sapphire Legion was your primary?
Colonel Shiba Akikiba, and would you like to make a heraldry roll for that?
I'm going to void point it.
It's also not a colonel.
Void point to pretend I have it, I mean. Just
Gotcha.
to be clear.
Yes, you've heard of him. His father was like a big war hero during the War of White Stag, so based on that prestige, he got himself, quickly rose through the ranks, but, nothing impressive about him, really. He's not a hero, but he's there. And Indrid kind of waves his hand. He says, "Stuff like that you shouldn't be asking me about." He puts his hand on the bald head of the Master of the Void, and he's like, "Mr. Mori has all that information for you, locked inside his noggin." That's correct. Although I assure you, in the case you hold any ill will towards us, that was not our doing. His current state is 100% the doing of your clan. Another instance of the fallibility, I should say. And all the spirits in the room kind of chuckle and high-five each other.
I'm imagining all of these spirits as just the traditional, like, bro jocks. Like, yeah, look at these nerds.
They're all exactly the goblins from the labyrinth.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the labyrinth.
Yo, Ken. Oh well.
I haven't seen it in years. I don't even remember the goblin.
It's not as good as you remember it. I'll say that much.
I mean, that's generally the case with.
I just remember David Bowie's weird outfit and then like the strange MC Escher sort of set design at the end. That's one of the. And then the labyrinth itself, I remember being pretty cool. Anyway.
What is the Uzumaki spirit? Is it among you, or is it something else?
It's like those paper lanterns that your clan has running around that we helped design. But it's made by Gaijin and it uses some other form of propulsion. It's like one of their ships, but it sails through the air and it's, it's connected to our realm just as these orbs are, but not by means which we supplied them. To be honest, we don't know how the Gaijin even got to our realm.
Where are the children?
The children are with the Gaijin. They get stored in our realm, but, we don't want to mess with that. And when the Gaijin need them, they get summoned back to Ningendo to serve their masters.
Is there any way for me to retrieve?
Is there a way for you to what?
To retrieve?
To return them? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, retrieve. That's the same thing.
Yeah, I suspect if you destroy the Uzumaki spirit, it'll just start spewing out kids. And the spirits start to stretch, and they look at non-existent watches. They go, well, Mr. Hiroshi, it's truly been an honor working with you and watching you in your office work, but our time on this world is done. And he kind of puts his foot on the back of the Master Void and kicks his body to the ground. He says, Sparky there, it's got all the information you need for your court case. We look forward to seeing the fallout. And he'll head over to the orb, if you allow him.
I do something. There is no way I can kill them all. And it won't do any good.
How many races do you need to attack 50 targets?
I don't have enough void points for that.
Come on, Hiroshi, anything can be done. I'm fighting the Master of Fire here as a rank 2 Shugenja. Surely you can take on 50 spirits.
50 spirits is a rank 2 Shugenja.
That's roughly how hard it is to fight the Master of Fire.
I mean, the difference, I would say it's not the same, considering the fact you can technically save him alone. Meanwhile, if I kill 5, that's still 45 stacks on me. Potentially.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Ooh. Let me think here.
Come on, Asako, just die. We're doing it.
Oh, I don't plan on dying. I have him right where I want him. Look up the grappling rules if you'd like. I'm actually in a very good position right now.
That's true. Aren't the grappling rules like they redid them for 4th edition and they're kind of nutty or something?
Essentially, in order for him to escape my grapple, it's a simple action. So even if he escapes, he's not going to be able to cast on me.
Yeah.
Which gives me plenty of opportunities to snipe on him. And moreover, he's an old man, and a contested grappling roll after it's already in a grapple is strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to let him go.
Radical. Okay. So he walks over towards the orb and he rips off one of the strips of it, and you hear the with like the one strip being ripped off, they all like kind of molt off it like feathers off a bird, and you hear the laughter of the realm of mischief just like peel out through the room, and all the spirits approach the orb, and when they touch it, they kind of just get sucked into it like a vacuum, and then once all 50 are gone, the orb like begins sucking itself into itself, and then bends reality for a few seconds before it just winks out of existence. Though the sound of laughter stays for some time, Hiroshi, as you feel like an entire realm has just been let in on a really good joke. And so you're left alone with just you and Mori Isawa. What do you do?
Well, first I'd make sure he's not harmed in any way.
It looks like he took 2 points of void damage a few hours ago, but other than that, he looks fine.
I'd get him sort of in a properly dignified position, because he's probably not after being kicked over. Dust off his kimono of the footprint on his back. And then with that, I'd do the funky void ritual to unlock his mind.
Alright, roll that meditation.
Love you. Love you too. See you tomorrow.
See?
That is a not very good roll for that.
Well, seeing that this one is like the most important version of this in the entire series, I'll let a 28 roll. As you find yourself floating in the void once more in front of the gates of truth, and with that, we go over to Sai.
Yay.
You notice that the cut that you delivered on... Sorry, I was just looking at... looking at his wounds. The cut that you delivered on Shiba Kiba. It's not bleeding, but the cut that you delivered, there are black feathers that are dripping out of it.
Black feathers?
Yep.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Alright. I don't know what to do with that.
It's chill.
I figured after you mentioned the technique.
Yeah.
Bird boys.
But it's your go in the initiative, so what would you like to do?
Could I make a well, I don't want to do this if it's going to be like an action, obviously, but could I do a lore Bushido check to figure out what the black feathers are? Or
yeah, for sure.
Lore theology?
Yeah, go ahead. Lord Bushido. So.
Oh man, only that was your attack roll.
Yeah. that was my good roll for the session, apparently.
It's okay, you'll have more. I'm blessing you with my luck.
Well, there's throughout the history of the Empire, there's been legends that there's a race of people whose existence in the lore is a little weird, but they're the Kinku, and they're one of the 5 great races that, ruled the world before they destroyed themselves. They represented air, and they were great swordsmen and teachers. Kakita, founder of the Kakita family, he was taught Kenjutsu by a Kenku. They're immortal, or nearly immortal. They live for very long. They're usually quiet teachers who test people, and if they find you worthy, they teach you Kenjutsu. This guy's not one of those. He's a Kenku from the realm of mischief. Out for blood.
Okay. Alright, so I will roll to attack this dude. Oh, I gotta deduct my void point. Since I don't have any more of those. 20. I will use my luck.
Tight. Roll that damage.
Oops, sorry. I just closed my character sheet. Alright, weapons. There, I finally... That's a decent damage roll compared to my last one. Looking at the rolls for my last one, my highest roll was a 9. He didn't even keep his 9s. Because he had 2 10s explode.
Sweet. He will absorb some of that.
Oh, and by the way, the DC is +5. But I think that still hits, because I think I rolled less than 23 last turn to hit, so...
Oh, for your wounds, gotcha.
Oh no, I rolled the 25 last time to hit, I think.
Oh, then yeah, if you roll the 28 and you have a 5 penalty, it does not hit.
Oh, okay.
It swishes past him. He doesn't have to spend a void point for that damage. I erase that note real quick. Boop, boop, boop. Back to his health. And he'll attack you. He sees his opening. He changes his attack stance to full attack. What's your TN?
My defense is 23.
23. He's gonna take.
Unless that goes down with my wounds. I don't think it does. Yeah.
Your defensive capability does not go down, but your offensive goes down significantly.
Yeah.
He goes into full attack stance. He's gonna spend four raises for extra damage. Let's see how he does. I believe that will hit, even with the extra 20?
Yeah, because the 4 extra raises. So he still would have gotten a 32 or something.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So that's 25?
25 damage. So that I'm exactly down.
Tight. So as you kind of drop to the floor, no more void points left, so you can't even like force yourself to do something. He kind of crouches over you know, and he's like, I wasn't lying about what I was saying. Your grandfather, he really did love you, but, some people are just scared to admit to the consequences of their wrongdoings. And he winks at you and he says, "Don't worry. I know he's doing fine." He's going to take his katana and go ahead and stab you through the heart and put an end to Sawasai. And speaking of Sawasai doing fine, here we are. Alrighty, Shojenko, what's the, give me that jazz to break out of a grapple.
Alright, so basically he has to roll Jiu-Jitsu plus strength, keep strength, versus a contested Jiu-Jitsu strength with me.
Interesting.
He has to beat a 32.
No problem. No problem. Easy.
Oh wow.
Alrighty. If we were playing Ninja Crusade, that'd be a lot of boosts. Anyway. Alrighty, Shojenko.
The old man struggles feebly against the grip as Shojenko decides to... Well, firstly, I have a free action of 5 words, to which I will say, "You masters are all the same," and punctuate it with a headbutt directly to his face. Now, because of him being grappled and I control the grapple, I can just hit him as a free action. And given the effects of Fires of Purity, it's going to be my normal unarmed damage plus 3k2. So a total of 6k3, which is thusly. Slam.
Neat.
And then, I assume he's going to try to escape the grapple again.
One would assume that.
Ah, he actually has a chance now.
Well, what do you know? He's gonna void point that one.
Is he void pointing for an extra roll or to pretend that he knows how to do jujitsu?
Interesting
Also,
concept.
does he have any wound penalties right now?
He is not. He's pretty earthy. For being a fireman.
Damn, 36 wounds and he's still fine. That's pretty earthy.
Well, he's been void pointing it.
Ah, I see.
Sorry, I'm just looking up something real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, here we go. Yeah!
I would like to point out that if he was doing the +1 K1, those shouldn't have exploded. Though
that's
that
true.
does not matter.
I just like putting exclamation marks on things. Alright, let's see. Controls the grapple, then what does he do?
That means you can take an action.
Ah, yes. Well, essentially it means that if you control the grapple, he can either break it, try and throw me, attack, or pass. All of these things make it so he cannot cast, so I'm totally fine with it.
He'll break it. So it goes to you.
Gonna do the same thing. Gonna try to initiate this here grapple against his armor TN.
Sweet, he's gonna use a void point to raise his TN.
How many void points does he have? Damn.
Let me check that character sheet.
Because if he has been voiding for damage, plus the void that he just did last round, that's 3. He is an elemental master. I assume him to have a bunch, but he must be getting close. Because with this one, this is his 4th void point.
Yep, he has 4.
Okay, that's fine. I call upon the power of anime and hope that this is dramatic enough to hit. Come on, over 30. It is not. Drat.
Tight. He takes a minute as he's like, boy, I was pretty sure I was gonna die there. And he may yet. I think it'd be very funny if you cast Fires of Purity, so. Allow me to check what sort of raises I can get on that real quick.
For every 2 raises, you get a plus 1 KO to the fire itself.
Fun. Oh wait, I remember what he's gonna do. I remember. I remember, guys. I'm gonna roll for it right now. Calling 2 raises on this. Okay. The smarter people in this room worked this out for me. A rank 4 spell costs how many points?
A rank 4 spell is 25 TN, takes 4 rounds to cast, and yeah. So 25 TN, but it takes 4 rounds to cast, which means I would have plenty of time for some playtime. He would need 3 raises to cast it in a single round.
All right. 40
so total
TN.
TN of 40.
It's you know what? This will be it. His hubris either saves his life or ends up killing him. A fitting end to Isawa's side.
Come on, big money. Ah. Oh well.
Sweet. So he casts Death of Flame. So your agility and intelligence are reduced by 5 points to a minimum of 1, as he just like sucks the fire kami like right out of you.
Ah, but this is not the end.
You're right. It's your turn.
I'm pretty sure he cast Ravenous Swarms on me, so... Well, hold on now. Quick question. So Ravenous Swarm says that the fire spirits within me are dancing around me, and if I cast a fire spell, it would explode within me. He just sucked all of the fire out of my body. Would that still be in effect?
That's a fun question. His agility.
Oh, I've got my phone ringing. I will be right back.
No.
Okay, so they would not still be within me.
Well, he's draining your fire. He's not draining the spell he cast on you.
Okay. In that case, I only have a single thing that I can do.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try and grapple him again.
Okay.
Alternatively, I could just try and walk into him.
This would amuse me.
Given that he did not move very much and he's busy focusing, would I be able to just walk into him with, say, an athletics roll?
Oh, with a jiu-jitsu roll? Yes. No athletics.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to try and do the jiu-jitsu roll then. I'm going to go and try and grapple him once more.
Okie doke.
If this hits, this is his end. But I would need to have 2 explosions on a dice to do it. So let's see if I have that sort of luck. I legitimately have no other method of doing this, so this is pretty much the Hail Mary.
I'm gonna have me some more popcorn. What you think about what?
This is also where I wish I had a wood. Nope.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
Then with that, he's going to cast another spell. At the start, I believe right now you can oppose fire rings to see if you're affected for next round.
Yes, indeed, which I will do. Yeah, no, I'm still affected.
Okie doke. This is the worst part about having a Shugenja enemy, is me just looking through spells. Perfect. Fire that cleanse. Let's do it. Oh, it'd be so funny if he burnt the lantern.
He definitely cast it. I'm to assume that he casted the fires that cleanse, correct?
Correct.
Oh, good. That means he hit himself for 33 as well.
Tight. What?
I am amazingly 1 point away from crippled, or 1 point away from down.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
How do you usually cook this?
I put the popcorn button twice. Ah, the including you is a very important part of that spell's text. Sweet. Yeah, he kills himself. As you know, he's been having a rough day. His grandson's dead. Not that he knows that. So the fires whip around him. Burn down his ship.
Yeah, Shujenko will stare at the now dead Master of Fire. And then he'll burst out into laughter. He's gonna laugh hard. It's hilarious to him. He looks at the smoldering corpse of the Master of Flame and then says, "Samurai always find a way to destroy themselves. I've already won, Master of Fire. Even if I had died, I still would have won."
As he dies, he's like, I just want a spell that does damage. The skeleton fades away into ash. Alrighty. We go up to
And
her.
with that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a medicine roll real quick and see if I can patch myself up moderately in some way.
Cool.
I'd have to get a 35 for this since I'm crippled. If not, I'm going to leave and try and find a guard and explain what happened. Nope. Okay.
We go to Hiroshi, who stands before the doors of truth. His master is also standing there. The master, as the two of you are floating through the void, these massive stone doors, he's like, "All right, so you've come to the end of the road, have you?"
One cannot say that a road ends behind a gate one cannot see behind.
I want you to know it was not me that attacked you earlier today.
So I have gathered what was done to you by our clan.
Well, it was done by myself, I suppose. After the War of White Stag, our clan was seeking a way to defend Rokugan from, threats that we cannot understand, and so, in our fear of the unknown, we did terrible things. We smuggled the Gaijin into our territory and began working with, the Peckles, as you know. And for my own part, I seek knowledge that was not mine to seek. So I opened the doors of truth, and so that I could have the power to protect my clan. And I gave up my body and my ability to speak the truth, and what was left behind was a being of immense power within the void that protected the clan, but it was not me. It was just my essence, I suppose. So all those assassinations, and he points to himself. I did them and was powerless to stop it.
And what takes you when you lose your ability to be oneself?
I have not had that ability for a long time. It's just like, it's just like I'm watching someone move through the void as me. I can feel my essence moving about, but I can't exert any control over it. And the conspirators have used that to keep their secrets hidden.
I must break the bonds of the secret.
And he nods and he says, to do that you have to, he pauses, he says, you'll have to open the gate yourself.
At that, Sako would step forward and push on the door.
Ugh, Sako's the hero of Rokugan. Yeah, you place your hand on the gate, and it like awakens at your touch, and you don't hear it audibly, but you know the void's asking you, what are you willing to give up?
How to put this? Only so much as to be able to know and to share.
It's a very beautifully put sentence. So then I'll ask you, what do you mean by that, Ken? Just so I can,
The main thing he cares about is whatever knowledge he can gain, so far as the extent that he's still able to communicate it with.
Okay. So the void would like to know if it has to be you personally who communicates it.
As long as it would meet the Rokugani legal requirements as being able to communicate. Essentially.
And, since the law of Rokugan does perfectly reflect the law of the Celestial Order, the Void understands what you're talking about. And begins to suck you inside of it. And, and coming out from the other side, you can see, your master, the Master of Void, or a version of him at least, coming to reconnect with his body. And as the two of you, like two ships passing in the night, sailing together for one brief instant, you two acknowledge each other, and you gain all the knowledge, Ken. Hiroshi becomes omnipotent for a brief second. At least in the matters of the cases that you've been looking into. He sees when the former Master of Water first made contact with the the Peckles, and they showed her their immunity to the taint, and she was like, "Ooh, tight." You see Asawa-sai and a few other Flame Shugenja using their powers to, rain fire down upon a wooden, like, disc-shaped object that was sailing through the sky, and how it crashed into the ocean. You see yourself and Shojinko shooting down an object flying through the sky, and how when it landed in the lake, the breach orb, like, connected the lake with the realm of mischief, so an Orochi was able to pass over. Haha, Mr. Soft. You see everything, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's all so clear. And you turn around, and you see the doors close shut behind you. As in the real world, the camera shows Asako Hiroshi in a comatose state, as the Master of Void kind of wakes up. His eyes flutter open. He wakes up and he looks around, and he looks over at Hiroshi and looks terrified. All right, so Shojinko.
Oh, before I leave, by the way, while it's still me and nothing but corpses, I take out the tear and I say, "The Master of Fire is dead. I have killed him." And I missed the last part. The ship is destroyed as well, correct?
The like casing of it, the silk and the timber that surrounds it, but the orb itself is doing fine. And that's the important part.
The orb of the ship is fine. Our agents are dead. I am still living, but I do not know if I will continue to be such for long. If this is the end, use the Gaijin, use his knowledge, and remember me as the hero to the Kolat that I am. If I do not report to you by the end of the night, assume I am dead. I will not reveal anything. Long live the Kolat. And then that's when I would leave.
Beautiful. Very I don't know. I find these moments beautiful. I'll let you, I'll just leave this up to the players. So I do have one more session planned. However, I feel like, this session could be a very good session to end things off on. Just give me your fast and dirty opinions on the matter.
I am fine with either.
I'm also fine with either. This was a pretty good finale, I would say. If you want to have another session for the aftermath of the finale, that'd be cool. But I do feel that with Psy Dead, it would be a little boring.
Yeah, I was expecting Psy to live, and so now I'm like, it feels weird making a character for the last session.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I mean, unless and maybe other people have ideas like a character, like unless I play Umbayashi or something.
My idea would be that you could see the aftermath of Psy's life and his meeting with Emma O, the Fortune of Death, and get to figure out exactly where he goes within the Celestial Order. But that's not exactly being able to influence anything in the rest of the campaign.
No.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the dude just rolled really well, right? Like at the end.
Yeah,
and
he rolled a 48 for 2 damage.
Yeah, 46, and I just rolled poorly on top of that, so yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with ending it here.
What's your preference, I guess, is the important. Because you're the person who's the most effective.
I mean, I could also just, like, you guys can finish up the campaign or something.
I am literally fine either way.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, Hiroshi managed to figure out the problem and solve it. The Kinku basically think that this is all amusing as hell. Shujinko managed to not only kill the Master of Fire, but the Gaijin who can create these objects is now under Kolat control. And probably within a couple of weeks or days' time, the Kolat will come and take this sphere and then drastically change the entire history of Rokugan by having access to flying machines. So this is a pretty good ending.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, then today will be the last session. I'll wrap up a few things. So the Yoritomo supervisor is of course very shocked by a few turn of events. God, I want to say those two guards like heroically see the Kinku killing Sai, and they're like, "No," they finish him off. So the main deal is that the Master of Void, who's like been awake for the first time in 25 years, approaches the Otomo, and he's like, "I believe Hiroshi sent me here to give testimony." The Otomo's like, "Oh, Hiroshi, the star player." He's like, "Of course." And so the case is had with the testimony of the Master of Void. He's able to point towards the Master of Air and the Master of Fire, who's hasn't shown up for his court date, which is indemnifying. As the two like leaders of the conspiracy, and he can point out Ashikiba as well, and all the other high-ranking members that they've been hiding, and so. With that, the Blue Lotus and the conspiracy that they had over the Phoenix Clan kind of starts to crumble as the Phoenix Clan starts taking the necessary steps to start cleansing themselves of that taint. Vast power vacuums are left open and filled as Asako Jun rises to he was voted in to become the chief magistrate because, of course, his personal office was the ones who revealed this great conspiracy that had spidered web through the entire clan. I want it to be like left ambiguous if Shojinko's dead or not.
I actually had a thing that I want to say beforehand, and then I want to leave it ambiguous.
Okay, good.
His basic thing that he is saying is that he had found the device as the Otomo had requested, and when he was there, the Master of Fire was there as well. And given the information that he was part of the conspiracy was made public knowledge, Shujinko fought him as strongly and as bravely as he could. And in the end, he made a massive, painful burst of fire that seared and singed everyone in the room. The few guards he had with him, the device itself, which was flying, it all vanished in a blaze of glory. It burned down, and he was the only one that survived. And given the fact that he had to kill a master of the Phoenix clans, which was outside of his power, he humbly requested one of two things: to be allowed to commit seppuku, so that he may cleanse his family of the dishonor that comes with killing a leader of the Phoenix clan, or to be allowed to join the ranks of the Inquisitors to suss out corruption within the clan however he may. And I'd like to think that of those two, one of them happened, but I'll leave that up to whoever decides to think this. If he does survive, he will continue to be a key asset within the Kolat, and he'll be asked to be named Master Future, to work with the Gaijin, to work with all the futuristic technology that he is going to eventually do. And with his power of fire and the ability to increase the intelligence of those around him with his spells of fire, not to mention his position within the clan as a Inquisitor, he'll be able to wreak havoc throughout the Empire for a long time yet. And if he is requested, or his request for seppuku is permitted, then he will die with honor, knowing that he has changed the future permanently, no matter what. even with his death, he has still done more than many will do within their lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. Umbayashi continues to live his life in the background. Asako Hiroshi, my apologies. God, I had such plans for him, and I just didn't care. Asawa Hiroshi, for probably years, spends time on the other side of that door. He must scream, but he has no mouth. Just like in very much sensory deprivation. But eventually he comes to learn the methods that the Master of Void had learned to communicate with the outside world through astrally projecting and stuff like that. And so eventually, after much hard effort, I believe Asako Hiroshi becomes able to share the information that he's learned through the Void with his fellow compatriots. Yeah. There's one other thing, but I cannot remember it. So yeah, that was the Phoeni-X files, I think, guys. Oh, of course, Isawa-sai. Many years from now, still in the realm of waiting. Eventually, you're reconnected with your sister. Might not be this incarnation, might not be the next 12, but when your souls cross paths once more, the two of you recognize each other.
Aww.
No.
But yeah, that's the end of the Phoeni-X files. Guys, thank you so much for playing.
Cool.
Thanks to
Yeah,
anybody
thanks for
who
running
watched.
this.
Yeah, thank you so much for running this. This was extremely